Hey, Battle Built here with another video, getting some brand new Season 12 Go Battle League battles. Psych, I lied. Actually, it's technically still the end of Season 11, and for whatever reason, with the ending of this season, literally the day before, Niantic decided to push forward with the entire move update that's supposed to be happening for Go Battle League Season 12. If you want to know more about the move update, move changes, Mons getting new moves being added, check out my last video going over it and tier listing what's possibly going to be good and what was a waste of time. But for today, we're going to highlight one of those Mons. I have no idea why this was brought about early, but you know what? I had sets to do, so it was time to hop on top of some content. And I'm excited to bring you with my first video with these new moves and the new move update in the form of Galarian Weezing getting access to Fairy Wind. Fairy Wind is literally a Mudshot clone, but of the fairy typing. So it's going to allow Galarian Weezing to be a bit of a spammier Mon with access of charge moves to Sludge, Overheat, and Play Rough. Because Sludge is such a bad move, even though it is Stab, because Galarian Weezing, which is why I'm super excited for it, has a very unique typing in the form of Poison and Fairy, we decided to go double nuke, and we're going to run Galarian Weezing in the back with a core of Trevenant and Obstagoon. So without further ado, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I have a collection of battles with Galarian Weezing, and let's see how well it performs. Getting into this first matchup, we have Trevenant against Ferrothorn. This is a positive matchup for the Trevenant because we resist all of the charge moves that the Ferrothorn is going to throw. I guess technically speaking, we don't resist any steel moves it throws, but in this matchup, I end up only facing power whips from this Ferrothorn, so we can comfortably go straight Shadow Ball and win this matchup. Also, please excuse my elo. I was able to hit Legend with about a week left in the season, and because, you know, the season was coming to an end, and I thought I had 24 hours more of Season 11 before the shift into the new meta into Season 12, I was just throwing for content over and over and over again, just for the fun of my Twitch views and my Twitch stream battles, and the elo looking quite bad. But regardless, we persevere and we got a battle wherever we're at elo wise, and I definitely had quite the competitive battles in the 2400s with these new mods. So now we end up in the zero shield scenario, and you can already see Galarian Weezing popping off with the Mudshot clone, gaining a bunch of energy so fast, building all the way up to Overheat. Another reason why I do like Overheat on my Galarian Weezing, or on Galarian Weezing in general, is that it gives you a chance against Steals. Steals are going to hard counter the heck out of Galarian Weezing, being a Fairy and Poison type, and at least Overheat allows you to hit them in that kind of situation, like we just saw with the Ferrothorn. Sludge is nice though, because it lets essentially Galarian Weezing operate as the best possible Fairy type in the game, because it has a poison move to hit the rest of the fairies for super effective damage, but it depends on how you want to build your comp and what you're feeling like. Plus, Sludge could be a good bait move. So honestly, I think Galarian Weezing has multiple options and multiple ways to be played in some open Great League battles, and you can go with your choice of either Overheat or Sludge. I think you want to at least definitely have Play Rough though for the stab fairy damage, you know, continuing Galarian Weezing and keeping it as the fairy mon that it's supposed to be. But honestly, I think you can get away and have a lot of success with any of those movesets, honestly, legitimately. So getting into this next matchup, we have Trevenant against a Shadow Alolan Marowak. Our opponent's going straight Bone Club. We're actually able to win the one shield because of that. They then come in with a Jellicent with Hex, and we have the perfect answer for it in the form of Obstagoon. So we're a little, not really concerned, but we're expecting them to potentially be running Ice Beam. They do catch a Night Slash onto their Swampert, which is a huge play on their part. I'm going to stay in and try to get their last shield, or at least force some energy onto Obstagoon, because Galarian Weezing is not going to have an amazing matchup there, just based on the pure fact that, you know, it's a poison type. So actually, Galarian Weezing literally just serves as like a third and fourth shield in this match. We brought it in and ate a Hydro Cannon. You can see how kind of tanky Galarian Weezing is there. It took two, ends up going down and dying, but now we're going to commit to the Obstagoon one shield against Swampert and Jellicent, because that's just our win con there. Galarian Weezing gonna lose to those ground types. It's gonna be tough for it. It does have access to Overheat to at least, hit the Steel ground type of Galarian Stunfisk in that potential case. But something along the lines of Swampert, even if you had Sludge, would be resisted because of the ground typing, and then Play Rough is just super expensive to get to. So we wanted to still at least find our win con and show a winning match. We had to commit to Obstagoon in this case. Lovely little boost there. Completely after the fact. I was almost slightly getting worried there because I was out of energy in that. Jellicent was full with Ice Beams while running Hex. Getting into this next matchup, we have a Trevenant on a Galarian Stunfisk lead. In this situation, I'm just going to go straight Shadow Ball. My aim was essentially to maybe win leads or play out one shields, lose leads with the opponent having a little bit of health left, so I can come in Galarian Weezing and farm down whatever remaining health that Pokemon, whatever the Pokemon may be, would have had to, generate that fast energy, show you how quick it charges up, show you how well it can spam its big moves. These are big moves. Overheat, Play Rough, like Fairy Wind being a Mudshot clone is no joke. So now we got that shield, the opponent decided to commit to their Galarian Stunfisk that was almost dead. They throw a Rock Slide, we get one more Shadow Claw through. The Galarian Stunfisk is down to like 1 HP. We come in with our Galarian Weezing, get a little bit of energy, and then they come in with an Azumarill. So this is the place we want to see it. This is one of the unfortunate situations, though, of not having Sludge, where we would be able to deal super effective poison damage to an opposing fairy and really assert Galarian Weezing's dominance. We're not able to here because we have Play Rough and Overheat instead as our charge moves. Now the positive thing here is at least Galarian Weezing still plays this matchup really close. I think my opponent Play Roughed me. They might have been running like Play Rough Hydro Pump, or maybe didn't realize I was a Steel type, not Steel type, Poison type, so I was going to resist their move, but regardless, that's the way they decide to make that play. Then they come in with a Buzzwole, which is worst case scenario for our Obstagoon. We try to catch their move. We're hoping they didn't get enough farm to get to a move. We get all the way to the Overheat, and we CMP tie for the loss. If I would have done one more Fairy Wind, potentially caught that move on my Obstagoon perfectly, I could have potentially been in a situation to get off my Overheat a little bit sooner against their Buzzwole, take it out, and then Fairy Wind down. I keep on wanting to call it Mudshot. Fairy Wind down my opponent's Azumarill and win that match. So a very close one, literally down to the wire. Getting to this next matchup, we have Trevenant against Magcargo, and our opponent plays this very interestingly. They decide to commit to an entire Incinerate farm down. I know it's a nice matchup for Magcargo, but I don't recommend this being your play because now I have a 2 shield to no shield advantage here, and it's relatively obvious that Overheats are incoming. So I will just commit to my Obstagoon here with the first Overheat coming through. At this point, I'm a little tempted to not shield the next one because they're debuffed, but it's still Overheat. It does hit hard, so we decide to shield again, and we're going to commit to a counter down because, of course, counter being super effective against Rock. They then come in with the Shadow Poliwrath. I come in with the Galarian Weezing, and here's a match where running Overheat ends up paying dividends because they bring in Trevenant, and we're able to one-shot it with the Overheat, and then we outpace. They had a bunch of energy, but I guess they didn't want to throw because they weren't going to be able to take us out. Get to the Play Rough, almost one-shot them. The only moves that Poliwrath would want to throw against Galarian Weezing would be Ice Punch or Scald. They're running Ice Punch, unfortunately not Scald for them, so they then need to throw back-to-back Ice Punches, or we would have been able to Fairy Wind them down. But the only reason why we weren't able to just completely sweep their back line with Galarian Weezing is because of that Overheat debuff to the attack stat. But Galarian Weezing seriously popped off, and it does go to show the benefit of having that moveset. It all essentially falls on what your team comp is and what it's going to perform well against. If you really want a hard fairy answer with Galarian Weezing, you need Sludge. If you have more diversity throughout your team comp and you want to just make sure you can do a little bit extra damage to Steel types, then you go Overheat. It's relatively simple as that, and I love that Galarian Weezing now has all that potential because Fairy Wind is such a good move. It's fantastic for it. I like Galarian Weezing as a Pokemon, as you can clearly tell. I was excited for it in the move update tier list that I did literally yesterday, and as I used it, I enjoyed using that Pokemon specifically. I did not have a bunch success with the comps I was running, but that was probably more like, user error. Galarian Weezing itself, though, is definitely legit in open Great League battles. So now getting into this next matchup, we're about halfway through. Essentially, we weren't in a great spot, but we were able to play the swap scenario so well that we had a shield advantage going into Galarian Weezing against their Shadow Swampert. We're going to now shield their next move. We had to shield both. They only have one shield, so we get to another play rough. This is going to take out the Shadow Swampert's remaining health. And can Galarian Weezing sweep here? Another situation where Overheat pays off. As much as Sludge would hit super effective here, it does not hit that hard. It would not have, boom, one shot the opponent's Alolan Ninetales in the back. And I definitely had a lot of fun throughout some of these battles where I was landing booms with the Overheat. Getting into this next match, we have Obstagoon against Defense Deoxys. We save swap into our Galarian Weezing, and we're not in a great spot here. This is a reverse slot where we would prefer to have Sludge for the Kanto Ninetales because we'd be able to spam it harder and it would hit for neutral damage, whereas now we're stuck with Overheat and Play Rough, and neither of those are going to deal neutral damage. Both are going to be resistant against the Kanto Ninetales. So we really want to flip switch because we would love to have Deoxys lined up with our Trevenant. Unfortunately, unable to do that. Gonna have to come in Obstagoon and just pray that Trevenant can sweep the back line. Galarian Weezing, not a great save swap in this scenario. And now the opponent's getting to another charge move. They threw 2 Weather Balls. We decided to tank both of them, committing to a counter down. We're able to pull it off. We save the energy. We swap into our Trev. And then they come into a Sableye, and I misplay here. Because of my energy advantage, I was like, I didn't realize that I could get to essentially 2 Shadow Balls, and that was the play that I needed to make. I was worried that even though I had the 2 shields, the Shadow Claws and the Sableye were going to do too much damage, and if I just would have Shadow Balled off the bat, I would have gotten off another one, taken out the Sableye, and hopefully had enough health to survive the counters from the Deoxys to at least get some Shadow Claw damage and even a Seed Bomb, whereas Obstagoon Sled Night Slashes in the back, and I end up losing that off of, a little bit more user error and a little bit more misplay on my part. But I hope in this collection of battles you were able to see how well Galarian Weezing could play. This isn't the perfect team for it. I did have a little bit of success. I enjoyed the battles running it, and it's just super exciting to have another Mon to run that is viable in some open Great League battles. Let me know your thoughts on the video. Let me know your thoughts on the battles. Let me know what updated Mons you want me to see. There are a bunch. I want to cover as many of them as possible. I think tomorrow, with the actual start of the season, I have 5 sets because I was really going ham with these with the updated move sets and whatnot, trying to test out a bunch of different things. A lot of it did not go well, essentially. These are just some of the highlights that I have with Galarian Weezing. I tried a little bit of Tentacruel, I tried a little bit of Miltank, a bunch to talk about. Really exciting Mons I want to try out some more with the new season, but essentially, with tomorrow's first battles of Season 12, I'm going to try out probably 5 updated Mons, 1 per set to get my season started. But on that note, thank you so much for watching. I'm hoping to crank out a bunch more content like this. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Reesh!